So over the past few years, I've been shooting NFL, NBA, and NCAA games, and I've finally come to a point to where I feel pretty comfortable with my gear. I no longer feel like I'm just kind of making it work. So we're going to talk about the stuff that I have that really helps me and how I use it, as well as some things you may not really think about that end up going a long way. And I'm going to try not to spend too much time yapping about each and everything so we can get through this kind of quick. All right, so first I have the Terion PBL backpack, I believe it's called. This is where I hold most of my heavy duty stuff. So, you know, cameras, lenses, all those big things. And then second is this fanny pack. This goes a really long way because when you're out there, you don't really have too much time to run back in the media room, whether that's pre-game or during game, and you need things like batteries and lens wipes. Sometimes you need to take off ND filters. There's just a lot of things that come and go while you're shooting, and it's nice to just have this right here, like around, so I can just grab stuff and put stuff away really quick without having to think too much about it or miss out on potential shots running back and forth from the media room. And so now we can get more into the hardcore gear itself and talk a little bit more briefly about how I like to use it. So I actually bring a total of 5 cameras with me on game days, 3 professional and 2 for strictly social content. The 3 for professional is my Sony FX3, my Sony FX30, and my Osmo Pocket 3. Don't sleep on the Osmo Pocket 3. And then for social, I use my iPhone 16 Pro Max and my Meta Ray-Bans. I like to mount my iPhone on the top of my camera rig. Sometimes it's cool to do some like iPhone versus Sony comparisons. And then for the Meta Ray-Bans, they're actually pretty cool for getting those like first person FPV shots. You never know. So for lenses, I have a few, but I'm really only using 2. First is my Sony 70-200. This is the only lens I'm a little insecure about. I want to get the f2.8, but that is a ton of money. I'll probably go with the Sigma 70-200 here in a couple weeks. We'll see. And then on the other hand, I've got the Tamron 35-150. Now this thing right here is an absolute beast. And so to be fair, I got it pretty recently. Before it, along with the 70-200, I was using the Tamron 28-75. So in game professionally, I'm using the Sony FX3 and the Sony FX30. I'm using the Sony FX30 because it is a crop sensor. So I like to use that with the 70-200. And so I can capture everything on the far side of the field, or the outposing end zone, everything coming up to me. And then I like to use the Sony FX3 as my touchdown camera, because with that, I want that 4:2:2 10-bit 120 frames per second without all that crop. Like that is my dedicated touchdown camera. But once they're at like the 35-ish yard line, it's looking like they could score on any play, that's where I love to use this, because I can get far out there to capture them at the 35-yard line. But then if they throw a deep pass or they get a really good run coming towards me, I can zoom all the way out to 35 so I can still capture my entire subject for that touchdown. This is also the lens that I'm using for pre-game. I would like to use one of my lenses that are a little wider, but I mean, just having that range, you never know when something's going to happen a little further away from you and you don't have the time to run up, so you can just, but I mean, all in all, I cannot praise this lens enough. If I had to go to a game with one dedicated lens, this would be it right here. It's got to be amazing for basketball. You can probably shoot the entire game on it, but that's enough on that lens. I've been yapping about it too long. Also, I got to keep those ND filters on me because I cannot control the lighting of the sun. Let me tell you what, this tool right here, my gosh, for all your screwing and camera mounting and all the stuff that goes along with it, this is undefeated, whatever it's called. I'll link it in the description. All right, so when it comes to mics, I've got this Ceramonic mic that I got years and years ago. It's nothing impressive. It's just, I mean, you need something better than your internal. So this is what I'll use, shotgun mic, to get audio on the field. When it comes to monitors, I actually have 2 options. So first, I got the Cine 4K, a pretty solid budget monitor, but I've also been experimenting using my iPad Mini 6. Actually, it's not ideal, but it's just kind of cool and it looks really good, like resolution wise. I've also got a couple braided HDMI cables and some like Velcro wraps and HDMI angle adapters as well. I really love how these help my cords not stick out as much and reduce the risk of me snapping them. I've actually had a couple of these break in place of where my HDMI cord would have, so they're a cheap and solid investment for sure. As far as the camera rigs go, it's all just about built from small rig and newer. I keep all my cameras in cages built for that specific camera, top handles, side handles. For the FX3, I use the XLR top handle. I've had a few pieces attached to it to mount like things like my phone, the monitors, or the Osmo Pocket on top. Oh my gosh, I actually didn't talk about the Osmo Pocket. I love to use the Osmo Pocket 3 for like establishing shots. It's really just a lot quicker than throwing my cameras on a full-blown gimbal. So I can either walk with it around, but I like to mount it on top of my camera. So I'll just walk around the set, the game, the stadium, whatever it is. And it just allows me to get those super smooth B-roll shots without having to take all the time to mount my camera on a gimbal. So as far as stabilization, I use a monopod. I got this one from the camera shop here in Orlando, and this has been great for just helping me get steady shots, especially on those shots further down the field, because the more you're punched in, the easier it's going to be to get a bunch of shaking in your footage. So it's great to have a monopod or a hi-hat or something like that to help you. And then I've got a few miscellaneous objects, and this right here, this is where the real lifesavers come in. So first off are these knee pads right here. I'm not gonna lie to you, I look like an absolute idiot walking around with them, but every other photographer, videographer I see out there is like, man, you're really smart for those knee pads, because I'm telling you, spending all that time having to stay low and kneeing on that grass, or my gosh, worst of all, turf, or especially if it's like a rainy game, something like that, and you're not trying to sit here and knee in this muddy grass for hours and hours upon time, the knee pads to go a long way. Next is this strap that, you know, I wear around to my side so I can put my B cam at my hip. It just screws into the bottom nice and easy, and I'll tell you, this thing is a game changer, because I'm not trying to put my camera on the ground once again, especially if you've got like a muddy field or whatever that may be. It's just nice to put it at my side, and so I don't have to carry two cameras in my hands at the same time either. I've got my little air blower thing to make sure I'm not getting any dust in the sensors of my camera or my lenses when I'm switching things out. Next, what I keep in the fanny pack is definitely these lens wipes right here. I can't tell you how many times these just saved my life. Something's gotten on my lens, whether that's fingerprints or dirt or whatever kind of grime when I'm out there, and I mean, trying to wipe it with my shirt, my pants, whatever, does not work. It only smears it up. Another thing I like to keep is this little portable gray card. I am not the best when it comes to white balance, you know, I'm still learning too, guys, and so it's nice to just have this out there so I can set my white balance nice, quick, super easy, and it's very compact, very easy to take out, fold, unfold, and put away. So link in description. I also keep a portable SSD. This is because there's a lot of times where I need to edit stuff right there. I mean, turnaround time is super fast. So, and then last but not least is a bottle of ibuprofen, because I get crazy headaches out there shooting in the Florida sun, and they are no joke. So this video was a little different. Hopefully you like this. If you guys have anything else that you might want to know about what it's like shooting sports, NFL, NBA, NCAA, just let me know. Appreciate you checking out the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that, and I will holla at you.